Today I'm bringing you 13 hours worth of cleaning in a 1-hour video. Yes, you did hear that right. I had the cleaning bug and I was non-stop from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 at night. Cleaning, tidying, organising, decluttering until the house was completely reset. And it's rare I have the energy for anything like this these days, but when I do, I run with it. And I felt so accomplished after it was all done. Exhausted, but accomplished. My house had really started to get on top of me again, and I could feel old messes forming and old habits creeping up again. And this time I was like, absolutely not. We're nipping this in the bud right now. And yeah, I hope watching gives you all the motivation today. So we're going to start upstairs, and I'm going to show you the befores in every room before we start, show you what we're working with. Charlie had the day off today, so he was on baby duty and school pickup, meals, and just keeping everyone on a different floor of the house, to be honest, so I could just crack on and get it all done. Usually I'll put a time limit on myself and let the mum guilt creep in, but not today. Aside from stopping every now and then to feed baby Velma, I just powered on until everything was finished, and Charlie was completely on board with that. The idea was that one long day of hard work would minimise the amount of work we'll have to do in the house each day in the next few weeks. And in the long run, this means more free time each day and more quality time together as a family, because we're not constantly fighting a losing battle with the house. I like to do these big resets once in a while. It just feels like a cleanse and a clean slate, a bit like an everything shower but for the house. Just makes you feel amazing, refreshed and ready to tackle life again. I got this bag of first size nappies out of the cupboard for my cousin who's just given birth. They were from my hospital bag and we didn't end up using them because Velma's grown so fast. She's 3 months and almost in 6 to 9 month clothes now. So I'm just going to pop that in the haul so I don't forget to give it to her. Going to give Velma's next to me sheet a wash as well. Going to pop that in a bright colours wash and get that on spin while we work. We're being as efficient as we possibly can be today. And for each room I've compiled a list of kind of problem areas or things I need to do. So for my room, it's mainly clothes. I've got a build-up of washing that needs folding and putting away. And I ended up smushing loads of Velma's clothes into her white basket instead of organising them, so I need to sort that. And then it's just the surfaces are really cluttered. Again, I had no time limits hanging over my head like I normally do, so I was able to really think about what would make the space function best. And if I needed to, say, declutter something, I was going to take the time to do that. It wasn't just surface cleaning that would end up just as messy the next day. And I also thought about what would make me feel happy when I walk in. A made bed was one of those things. And one of my favourite things about cleaning a messy house is those initial few hours of, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. Life feels so much better. I'm never going to let it get messy again. Of course, we always do, don't we? But that mood boost is worth it every time. So if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I'm a big advocate of switching up cleaning methods based on your mood and energy levels. I use lists, random generators, but most of the time I'm a timer fan all the way. I set timers and I get as much done as I can in that time. And this is really great if you have a hectic lifestyle. Just helps keep your head above water when it comes to the house. Timers really help me with motivation as well, because there's an end in sight. And I don't have that stress of not knowing when to stop or if I've done enough. I work until the timer's finished and it kind of lets me off the hook and helps me not feel guilty for stopping. It puts boundaries in place for me. But some days I just think, do you know what? I'm going to go all in and just allow the cleaning bug to take hold. It does make all the difference having a partner like Charlie though. And I know this isn't possible for everybody. Realistically, who has 13 straight hours to clean their house? Not many people. Not me most of the time, and especially when my maternity leave's over and I'm back at work. But I hope watching this can give you that motivation whatever situation you're in. Anyway, I had a pile of clean washing waiting on Charlie's chair and another basket full on the landing. And what I always do is pour them all onto the bed and get started. This stops me from giving up halfway because it makes a barrier between me and the bed. Not that it would have stopped me in the past, I would have just chucked it all onto the floor or slept amongst it like some kind of laundry goblin. But I've turned my life around in so many ways over the last few years and I have to be really strict with myself. I genuinely have to parent myself because deep down I still am a messy free spirit who doesn't care if the bed's made or if the washing's folded and put away. I did care though, and that's the thing. I just didn't realise how my space was impacting my mind. and I know now, so I do things differently. Here's me getting distracted sending voice notes to my friend Fern. I never realised how much I walk when I'm talking. And yeah, that's because I was watching one of her YouTube videos and I needed to tell her how funny I found it. I originally started watching her on TikTok and then we followed each other on Instagram and we became friends. And she's recently branched out onto YouTube, so I was watching all of her videos as I folded the washing. And you know what? Long form content is definitely her strong suit. She's just so comforting to listen to as you're getting your stuff done. And loads of people have been asking about the cleaning channels I watch when I'm cleaning, so I definitely recommend Fern. Her name on here is @homegirl99. Anyway, laundry. Do you remember when I first started this channel and there'd just be piles and piles of clothes all over the house, all over the floor of each bedroom and spilling out of the laundry baskets all over the landing? How times have changed. I mean, some people will still think we have way too many clothes and stuff in general, but this is manageable for us now. And I try to declutter as I go as well. So if I see a top while I'm folding that's looking a bit small for one of the boys, I won't wait for a specific time to declutter, because that's what my brain thought I had to do. Don't ask. But yeah, I don't wait now, I just do it now. And do it now is one of my new favourite sayings, and it's improved our quality of life so much. I've really had to practice and drill it into my head though, and it's taken years. But now, usually, if I see something on the side when I wake up in the morning, I'll take it downstairs with me as I go. It seems simple, doesn't it? Wrong. Not simple for everyone by any means. And if you're at the stage where you constantly let things build up and don't notice or remember to sort and clean things as you go, I have so many videos on my journey to this point, and I can meet you exactly where you are. I started making videos 3 years ago, and you can actually track my progress with the house over the years through the videos. And I really hope it gives other people hope that they can get to this point. Is our house perfect? As you can see here today, absolutely not. Still gets messy all the time, we still let things build up sometimes, but it's an easy fix now. So yeah, decluttering a lot, sorting things now, and a tumble dryer have been absolute game changers for me. Speaking of decluttering, that's what we're doing next. I'm going to go through each laundry basket and see if there's anything that the boys have grown out of, or things we haven't worn in absolutely ages, and I'm going to bag that up, wash and donate it. This is something I've implemented really recently, going through the baskets monthly as well as the drawers, because in this house, we rarely see the bottom of the baskets, and it's so easy for things to be grown out of without us even realising, which is really silly, isn't it, when you think about it? I'm just showing you what each laundry basket's looking like after I've decluttered it, because there was a time decluttering wouldn't have even made a dent on the appearance of them. But we can close the lid on all of them now, and that is an achievement. The stuff on top of the laundry basket there is stuff Velma's grown out of that I decluttered when I was going through the white basket. And for anyone new, we have 4 laundry baskets in this house. We have one that's just Charlie's, it's got all of his stuff in. Then we have a dark colours, a light colours and a bright colours. We could have a laundry basket per person, but I find this way works best for us, and it's whatever works best for each family, isn't it? In an ideal world, we'd have more space, and each child would have their own bedroom with their own laundry hamper actually in their room. But at the minute, we're working with the space we have, and we've got a good system going on. For anyone new, I have 3 children. My 2 boys, ages 10 and 4, share a bedroom, and our 3-month-old baby girl currently sleeps in the next to me crib in our room. And the plan is to get our first mortgage with at least 1 more bedroom in the next few years. I had set a goal at the end of this year because realistically we have a decent enough deposit now, but I'm just so scared of things cropping up, extra payments that we hadn't anticipated, losing income somehow and then not being able to afford the payments each month. It's just all so daunting, and I know we just need to be brave and take that next step, but I would like the security of a bigger deposit and smaller monthly payments before we take that plunge. We'll see. We're in no rush, honestly. We're all very happy in our cosy little house, and for now, things are functioning well. Anyway, next I decided to get the carpet scraper out because I hadn't done this for about 6 months, and it's really effective at scraping up the things the Hoover doesn't always get, like hair and crumbs that have been trapped in the deeper fibres. And to be honest, I was expecting to pull up more than I did, but I suppose that means we've been making progress with our cleaning routines. Last time I did this, I could have actually made a hair doll with the amount of hair I found. And there's something so satisfying about doing this. It's the same as scrubbing the hard floors on your hands and knees every once in a while. It makes everything feel extra clean. Do you know there are some people who only clean their floors that way? With a small bristle brush and a bucket of bleachy water. Like they never stand up and use a mop. More power to people who have that level of motivation, because summoning up the willpower to just do a regular mop is enough for me. And moving things out of the way to hoover and mop under them, that is a once in a blue moon thing. As you'll see in the video after this. I just do not have the time, and it's such an aggro moving the rug and moving the telly stand and the settee. And add kids who literally live in the living room to the equation, and it's just a full-on mission. Could do it at the end of the day when they've gone to bed, yeah, but I don't want to. That's my crisps and chocolate time, thank you. Anyway, what would have topped this off was getting the carpet vac out afterwards, but we've still got so many other rooms to sort, so that would just be going a bit over the top today, I think. What I did take the time to do, though, was pull each of the laundry baskets out and hoover behind them, because it's always so surprising how fast dust and bits and bobs can build up behind things. And you can always tell in this hallway, because it starts to spill out of the sides, and crumbs will gather around the front edges as well. And the amount of times I've walked past them and thought, oh, this is a job for another day, and I'll just hoover the edges of the laundry basket. But there are a lot of jobs for another day things in this house. We can't do everything all at once, can we? One thing I do need to practice, though, that I think will really subtly but really drastically at the same time improve the overall appearance of the house, is taking the time to move things and clean behind them. Like moving the toaster out of the way when I'm wiping the surfaces, or putting the kitchen chairs on the table when I'm hoovering the kitchen. I don't know why, but I'm allergic to that kind of thoroughness. I'm definitely a daily surface cleaner, and things look good from a distance, but upon closer inspection make you go, ugh. And then I end up having to do big, deep clean days, but it is what it is. Like I always say, something is better than nothing, and if all you can muster is the strength to surface clean, it's still better than not doing it at all. It still contributes and holds full-on chaos and filth at bay. You've got to be kind to yourself and celebrate what you are able to do each day. And I really think that mindset makes you more likely to try again the next day. That Connects is going straight up the hoover. I'm not messing about today, but yeah. If you're going in with the mindset of, yeah, I did that, but here's a list of all the things I didn't do that are now going to build up, you're more likely to think, well, what's the point in even trying? Because I can't keep up. But if you think of it like, I did this and this and this, and I can do this and this and this tomorrow, and we're keeping things rolling, we're getting things done. Doesn't have to be perfect, but look, this is a cosy lived-in space, and it functions because of the tiny little things I do each day. And it can feel like you aren't making a difference with these tiny little things, but you are. It's also important to remember that even though it comes across a lot that way on social media, nobody's house is perfect, I promise. Even in the most perfect looking houses, their youngsters still miss the toilet sometimes. Their pet's hair gets stuck in the carpet fibres and on the skirting boards, and they feel like a hamster on a wheel trying to keep on top of it. There will be something hidden and going mouldy at the back of their fridge, and dust still gathers under their beds. Because you literally have to be completely blinkered and obsessed or superhuman to juggle every single plate evenly when it comes to keeping on top of the house. And if that mindset is something you struggle with and you need some upbeat encouragement and motivation and tips on how to keep on top of things without being a perfectionist about it, I think my Reset Motivation playlist on here could really help. Because I show all the ways I muddle on and keep things base level clean, tidy and organised during the week. Some days I have a time crunch, others someone's been ill in the house or the baby hasn't been sleeping well. Some days I have more time and more help. Some days things are overwhelming and I'm struggling with executive function and I kind of ping pong from one task to the next. Other days things just flow and I have a plan and stick to it. And how I do it and what I choose to focus on changes every week too, so that there's some semblance of balance in the home. But every week we get something done and we feel much better and lighter at the end of it, and that's the main thing. It's all about being flexible and finding ways to work with your fluctuating moods, time schedules and circumstances, because things are rarely going to be the same every day, and we need to learn to adapt our methods to that, rather than being like, right, I'm not doing anything because I couldn't do everything. Anyway, this is what the bathroom's looking like. Now, the bathroom swapped places with my bedroom when it comes to being the most neglected room in the house. And I think since my bedroom's been redecorated, I've been more inclined to keep it tidy. And the bathroom's bearing the brunt now. Something's got to give, hasn't it? But I just hate the way it looks in here. It just looks so old and dingy. The walls are stained, it's mouldy, and I'm just like, ugh, whatever. These clothes, yeah, they look great on the floor, which is not the attitude to have, I know. We should look after and take pride in what we have, even if it's not perfect. So I used to have a predictable system when I cleaned this bathroom, but it's kind of changed now because I'm bored of it, to be honest. Novelty is sometimes what you need to stop you feeling like you're in Groundhog Day, and maintaining a house definitely feels like Groundhog Day. Some of us don't like change, and we like to do the thing the same way every single time. Some of us need change to stop us feeling like we're going mad. Funnily enough, I'm a mixture of both depending on what it is. So I used to clear the floor and every surface first, and then I'd clean the sink, and then I'd clean the bath and the toilet and then the floor. But these days, in most rooms, I like to do things in segments so I can alternate tasks and keep myself interested. So I did clear a bit of the floor first, then I moved on to clearing the sink, then cleaning the sink, then organising the little windowsill, clearing this side of the bath, and it's what I call the keepy-uppy method. And I have a whole video on that, but it's basically where you follow a trail of tasks. So see, I picked up some broken pieces of soap. They're from a Lush shower jelly, so I'm going to put those back in the tub. This leads me to the shower trays where the tub is supposed to be, so I'm going to neaten that up a bit, and so on and so forth. One task leads you to another task, sometimes it leads you to a different room, and it's such a great method for people who are easily distractible and get bored easily. You use those characteristics to your advantage, rather than seeing them as flaws that just hinder you and stop you getting anything done. So yeah, as I said, I've got a video on that. It's called How to Tidy When You're Easily Distracted. I've got all sorts of videos for all sorts of situations, really. As I was saying earlier, I've really changed as a person throughout my 3 years on this platform. There have been many different versions of me, and I've struggled with many different issues during each phase. There's been overwhelmed me who had a completely cluttered house and just felt like I was drowning in mess no matter how much I tidied up. I used a specific list method during that phase, and I have a video on that entitled How to Tidy When You're Overwhelmed. Then there was the version of me who was finally accepting decluttering was the way to go, and I have a whole playlist on decluttering because it's an ongoing process that you just get better and better at. Then there's more current me who's recently become a mum of 3, which has brought a whole new level of chaos into the house, but strangely it's been the calmest and tidiest it's ever been. I feel like a more regulated parent and a more present partner. And that me likes to do midweek resets to help keep on top of the myriad of jobs we have to juggle. And I have a whole playlist on resets too. Throughout it all though, my quest has always been for balance. Not becoming too zoned in and too focused on one area to the detriment of other areas of your life. So as I said, I can meet you wherever you are. Anyway, time for my regularly scheduled moan about the mould under the silicone. This is what I mean about the bathroom just looking grubby no matter how much I clean it. I've tried all the tricks, I've tried bleach, I've tried mould remover spray, I've tried hydrogen peroxide, soaking tissue and leaving it overnight, nothing works. And people who watch all the time will have heard this 1,000 times now, but the plan is to rip up all of the old silicone and start again. And repaint as well. The whole room just needs a freshen up. But it's just trying to find the time when Charlie's off, and I'm going to see if my stepdad might help as well, because I really don't want to try it myself and mess it up more than it already is. But then that's trying to find a time that he can do it when Charlie's off, and it's just, the weather's getting warmer as well, so no one's going to want to redo a bathroom in the sweltering heat. And I've already asked a lot of my stepdad when it comes to this house. He's helped me so much when I was pregnant. He's decorated the living room, my bedroom, the kitchen. But Steve, if you're watching this, can you help me do the bathroom as well? Anyway, onto the toilet. No, I'm not wearing gloves, and I know I should be, but I left them downstairs. And if I'd have gone down to get them, I'd have either gotten distracted or one of the kids would have spotted me, and it all would have taken way longer than it needed to. Anyway, in a minute, I'm going to take you behind the scenes to me discovering that in the 6 years we've lived here, there's been a protective sheet on the bath panel the entire time without me realising. And I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago I mentioned there were scratches and marks on the plastic and it just looked awful. This was before I knew. And I was like, do you think I'd be able to buy a whole new bath panel? And people were like, just make sure there isn't still a sheet on it before you do buy a new one. And lo and behold, there was. And I was still so scared to pull it off though, just in case there wasn't. But in my defence, it was only until really recently that there were any noticeable scratches and scrapes on it. You wouldn't have even known there was a sheet on there. I don't know if they're meant to be left on or if the builders forgot or what. And you'll hear Charlie go, "Don't let them see under there," them being you guys. And that is because I once flooded the bathroom and now the entire underneath of the bath is disgusting. It flooded through the floorboards all the way through to the living room ceiling. We've only just gotten round to repainting the living room ceiling. So yeah, we're not hiding anything weird under there, just mould.
How am I going to do it? Charlie, come here a sec. I think that had the protective layer on. It was looking really gross and it started tearing. It looks nice now. I'm going to clean this bit. What do you think? It looks horrible.
Don't let them see in there.
Don't look what?
Don't let them see in there.
No, after I cause carnage. It's not staying now. It's not sticking on.
It will.
Oh, well, it's not.
Okay, you just need to tuck
If I have.
the bottom right. It's not tucked in. No, the bottom right.
This?
Bottom right.
Yeah.
That's your bottom right.
Charlie to the rescue, because I was panicking so much about the panel not sticking back on that I forgot what was my left and right. We got there in the end though, thankfully, and it looks so much better now. Thank God for Charlie. He literally is my calm. Do you ever get like moments of clarity in the middle of the hustle and bustle of every day where you're just like, I can't believe this is my life? I think it all the time when I look at my kids. I'm like, what on earth? There's just these 3 humans that are made from scratch just living in my house. If you don't know, me and Charlie met at work. We both work at Asda. And there was a time that we were both too shy to talk to each other. And the only shift we worked together was a Wednesday late. And I'd honestly be buzzing to go to work that day because I'd get to stack the shelves in silence with Charlie. And I do mean in silence. Every week it'd get to like the last hour of the shift and we'd finally start chatting a little bit. And that hour felt like 5 minutes because we just clicked and had so much in common. And then the next week had come along and it was like we'd never spoken before again. It was so awkward. We'd spend the shift not talking to each other and then the last hour chatted away again. And this honestly went on for about a year. And I don't actually know how we made it to this point because we were both so awkward and I didn't know if he liked me and he didn't know if I liked him. So this is a miracle to me, really. And now we've just had our second baby. And sometimes I wish I could go back in time and give myself a glimpse into my future life. I actually think I'd pass out. Because I thought that was only something that happened in movies, that the guy that you had a crush on secretly liked you back. Anyway, now he's seen me throwing up, crying, having multiple mentee Bs. And today he's having to tell me the difference between left and right. It's funny how life works out. Anyway, after I finished the bathroom, I noticed it was really sunny, so I was like, I'm going to stick the washing on the line. First peg out of the year. By the way, this was filmed in April. It's just taken me ages to do the voiceover, as usual. Charlie had taken the kids to the park at this point, and I do want to mention that I was stopping to feed Velma multiple times throughout the day. And of course, I had to eat as well. And I think I even had a shower at one point because this had made me so sweaty I smelt like a sewer rat. So if you see an outfit change, that's why. Obviously I got changed into another pair of pyjamas. I want to be comfy in my own house, okay? Imagine wearing jeans doing all this. Oh no. But yeah, I said this was 13 straight hours of work at the beginning of the video, but there was a few decent breaks in between because I'm not the Terminator. Sometimes I'll say things like that and I'll think, oh, well, this goes without saying. Of course, I'm going to have some breaks in between. But people take things so literally on the internet, so I just want to clarify. I've just realised I hadn't fully finished cleaning the bathroom either. I noticed there was some mould growing on the tiles near the ceiling, so I went back and gave it a spray with some mould remover. Also sprayed the mould around the silicone. Doesn't really do anything to the original mould stains, but it did brighten it up a little bit. Oh, to be taller than 5 foot. Even just 5'3", I'd love that. I'm sure you've seen me standing next to Charlie. There's over a foot height difference. We look ridiculous. Anyway, then I gave the floor a mop with some Midnight Blooms of Flora. I am absolutely obsessed with this smell at the minute. Does anyone else go through like scent phases where you'll use it until you're sick of the smell? I do the same with certain meals. I've been going through a phase of absolutely loving egg. I have a runny yolk boiled egg for breakfast every single day. And when I was pregnant, I loved this egg fried rice from our local Chinese restaurant. So much so that they started putting an extra omelette on the top every time we ordered the rice. And Charlie calls Velma extra egg or egg girl now because he thinks she's the one who's given me the obsession. Egg girl. But yeah, I know full well in a few weeks, maybe a month, I'll wake up one morning, go to make eggs, and I'll be absolutely repulsed at the thought of it. And then I'll get a new obsession. It's very weird. Anyway, the boys' room, not looking too good. And there's no specific plan here, or problem area. The whole room's a problem area. And the plan is to do something, and then do something else, and keep doing that until it looks better again. As always though, I like to start with making the bed because I feel that just makes everything feel so much easier. I'm not doing it though because Charlie's loads taller than me and it's easier for him. I've done a lot of decluttering over the years in this room though, so generally, even when it looks messy, it's not too difficult to clean. Problem is, and I guess this is the same with most kids' rooms, it's just so easy to mess up again. All it takes is Ike tipping out a box of Lego and Rudy rummaging through his clothes drawers to find one specific item and it's chaotic in here again. But like I always say, look back to my videos at the beginning of this channel and you'll see the incredible amount of progress we've made as a family in each room. And on days where I'm overwhelmed with the mess, I think back to what the mess used to be, and I remember how much effort we're putting in daily to have gotten to this point and to keep moving in a positive direction. And I remind myself that just as life and nature naturally ebbs and flows, so do we. Some days we have a handle on the housework, some days it overwhelms us and we struggle to stay on top of things. But yeah, as I said, Rudy cleans his room most evenings, it just gets messy again really fast. And sometimes it's nice to treat your children to a clean room when they get back from school. I stand by that. I know it's a theme in my comments that my children should be taught to tidy up after themselves and that parents should never clean up for them. But aside from the fact that 9 times out of 10 my children do tidy up their space, I don't film all of the time and you can't gauge the entirety of someone's home life based on a few videos a month. Aside from that, I disagree that you should never help or never treat them to a reset. If someone cleaned my room and made it all cosy for me while I was at work, I'd be absolutely elated. That act of love would mean everything to me. And the last thing I'd think is, oh, well, because they've done this, I now no longer believe that tidying up is my responsibility because someone else will just come and do it for me eventually. And this isn't what my children believe either. And in the opposite scenario, if someone walked in and told me how messy and disgusting it was and how I didn't deserve help because I was the one who messed it up, I'd feel so humiliated and terrible about myself. As someone who's always struggled with messiness, I couldn't turn around and speak to my children that way. And I know speaking to them that way wouldn't change the fact that they struggle with messiness, because it's not a conscious decision they're making. They're not doing it out of spite. It's out of absent-mindedness. And that's not something you can train out of a person. It's like telling someone, remember to remember. You either remember or you forget. Anyway, my point is, I think there are far better ways to go about it and far better ways to teach them over time how to keep on top of things. Anyway, enough of that conversation. I feel like I say the same thing over and over again when it comes to this topic, but I know there'll be new visitors to the channel tuning in real time who won't have heard my thoughts on it. But yeah. So I said I didn't have a plan when it came to tidying this room, but watching the footage back, it turned out I did develop a system. And I love to highlight patterns and systems because I think it can really help. So I started out with making the beds, then picked a segment. We love segment cleaning on this channel. So the segment was the play kitchen. I gathered up all of the food into the little baskets, cleaned the inside of the kitchen, which seemed to be stained with some kind of syrup. If you hear shouting in the background, that's my kids playing downstairs in the living room, by the way. But yeah, the amount of times I clean actual food and drink off of this kitchen, they might as well play with real food. Next, I picked another spot on the floor, used the play kitchen sink because we like to be resourceful, gathered up all of the Lego I could see, and while I was doing that, I also created a little rubbish pile because I didn't have a bag on hand. After that, I did venture downstairs and found a rubbish bag, and I decided to take the time to reorganise these drawers because the labels had become obsolete. Everything had just been smushed into whichever drawer was free. And when that happens, it usually becomes the case that people stop using the drawers altogether because no one knows where anything is. So I threw away a load of dried up felt tips, put everything back into their rightful places, made a trip downstairs to get one of the drawers that had been sitting on the kids' table for weeks. Popped that back upstairs and sorted through that one too. And it's getting into these specific tasks that make you feel like you've really made a difference. It's the tasks that can't be undone in a day. And they help the house run better and stay tidier for longer. Because there's a home for things again. People know where things go and are more inclined to put them there straight away. The cramming of random stuff into random drawers and cupboards usually happens when the mess has already gotten to a certain point, and you just want to make the space look nice again as fast as possible for your own mental health. And you don't have the time or mental strength that day to go back and forth, putting everything back where it belongs. So you just smush things into the nearest cupboard and say, oh, I'll do that later. Later being when you can't ignore it anymore. And then it causes this cycle of messy storage spaces, doom piles being made because we don't know where to put things, and more time being drained from you in the long run when you ultimately have to sit and do this kind of stuff. Anyway, another reason I wanted the whole house to be tidy was because it was Rudy's birthday the next day. With birthdays come chaos, wrapping paper, boxes and presents to find homes for. And I want to be the happiest version of me on my children's birthdays, not the anxious version who's sat thinking about the mess and how I'm going to find homes for all of this new stuff. So I wanted to be prepared. And just a warning to skip ahead a few minutes now if you don't like people talking about certain no-legged reptiles. But I'd decluttered the boys' bookshelf a few days before this because one of Rudy's main presents this year was a snake. He has been obsessed with reptiles, insects and specifically arachnids for months now. He's like a fountain of knowledge. You can ask him anything about a certain species, the part of the world it lives in, how it catches food, its anatomy, and I'm hearing all of these clever words like commissary coming out of my 10-year-old out of nowhere. Those bags there are presents from his friends. He had his birthday party the week before this. And yet, he's decided he wants to be an entomologist, specifically an arachnologist, which is so funny because I also wanted to be an entomologist when I was younger. And I can't describe the feeling of seeing your own qualities manifest in your children. It's so cool. And obviously I want to foster his love for animals, but I couldn't bring myself to get a tarantula. Mostly because I don't like the live food aspect. I'd end up trying to keep the crickets as pets. So snake it is. I told him when he's older and mature enough to walk to the reptile shop and purchase his own crickets and all of that stuff, I'll consider a tarantula, but not right now. Anyway, we needed space on the bookshelf, so we've gotten rid of loads of books we never read and moved some of the others onto the higher shelf. And yep, we're all prepared now. We actually had the snake for about 2 weeks prior to this. My mum had been keeping it at her house. And then after we did this clean and the kids were all in bed, they snuck it round and we set everything up, blew up the balloons, wrapped the presents. And you'll see that at the end of the video. Okay, so next task in this room was clothes. Rudy had a pile to be put away and I thought, while I'm in here, why don't I go through everything, see if there's anything he's grown out of or doesn't really wear anymore. And it also turned out I needed to completely fold and reorganise everything because things were just shoved in there haphazardly and half of the stuff in the wrong drawer. It's no wonder he can't find space for his clean washing. Anyway, I've been meaning to ask for a few videos now because I like to check in and see what kind of videos people are enjoying, what you're not enjoying so much, what you'd maybe want to see. Maybe you're struggling with a certain aspect of the house, or you're struggling to balance the house and work or the house and kids, and you'd like me to make a video about how I navigate it, like maybe an evening routine or a day in the life where it shows how I balance cleaning and looking after the kids, or how I'm not able to in some cases. As I was saying, Rudy's really into spiders at the minute, absolutely obsessed. I'll pop that in his drawing folder. But yeah, maybe another good day versus bad day kind of thing where I show you just how different our days can turn out to be. Sometimes things flow well, the house is in order, I've made a lovely home-cooked meal, the kids are getting on well. Others, they've done nothing but argue all day, I've got nothing done, only have the energy to get a ready meal done for dinner, and the house is trashed at bedtime and left until the morning. Because I do have very contrasting experiences from day to day, as I'm sure many of you do too. That's parenthood. And yeah, maybe you're enjoying the day in the life segments and want to see more of that integrated or more decluttering. I know with the resets I kind of mix all of these things into one video, but maybe you'd want to see a more focused video that's just for decluttering or just for deep cleaning, like I used to make earlier on. I know that I haven't cleaned for anyone else in a long time either, and I'm hoping to start those cleans again at some point. But obviously with a new baby, I'm unable to leave her for extended stretches of time at the minute. But yeah, I'm always open to suggestions, and I'd love to sink my teeth into a certain topic and put my own spin on it for you. Anyway, at this point I realised I was getting the shakes because I hadn't eaten in a while. Does anyone else get so engrossed in a task that you just forget basic human necessities? You're just running on pure motivation or enthusiasm. I used to do it all the time when I was younger. I was obsessed with The Sims and I'd play it for like 12 hours straight. And then I'd suddenly realise, oh, I've needed the toilet for about 3 hours now. I've said it before, but I'm not allowed to play on The Sims now I've got kids. This is a rule I've imposed upon myself because when I play it, I forget I have a real life. But these are just the best times, when you're in a proper flow state. Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's gaming or painting or cleaning. I had videos on in the background to listen to. I was making progress, finding loads of things to sort through and clean and organise. I was in my element. But I did need to take a short break after this room to have some food and have a sit down and a shower because I was sweating. This room seemed to take absolutely ages as well. There's just so many cupboards and drawers and bits and bobs to sort through. I could have spent the rest of my time on this room, but I did want to get through every single room in the house, like I said. Now, anyone who plays the piano or keyboard, please help me. Rudy does piano lessons at school and we bought him this keyboard to practice on at home. Trouble is, this has a smaller number of keys, so it feels different to practice on because he has a full piano at school. So my dad bought these stick-on notes, and Rudy decided to just stick them on before we fully figured out where they needed to go. It's also got 52 keys, which I've figured is quite unusual. So where would I put the first note sticker, and which note would it start on? Or is it literally different for every keyboard? He practices on it just fine, but 9 times out of 10 it's through memory. And obviously we want to be able to set him up with his music books and he can actually play the music he reads. Anyway, this is the next bedroom all done. Beds are made, surfaces are clean, floors are hoovered, done some decluttering, and I've placed all of his presents in the middle of the room so that he can bring them downstairs and open them in the morning. Very pleased with this. I don't know whether I mentioned those boxes in this video because I've been doing this voiceover for so long now I can't remember what I've already spoken about. But those boxes are Rudy's creations and we can't get rid of them, so we just store them on his bed when he's not using the bed. Honestly, I can't wait till he's out of the box phase and we can get rid of them, but I won't push. We've been hiding his birthday balloons in the downstairs bathroom. We just locked the room with a coin from the outside so the kids didn't walk in and see it. But now I've come to work downstairs, I've marched everyone upstairs and they're not allowed to come past the child gate upstairs until I'm done and can lock the balloons away again. This is why we'll be wrapping the birthday presents literally the night before, because they would 100% find the stuff otherwise. We've already got pretty much no storage space free, so we've been hiding the presents in the boot of Charlie's car. And this is basically what we do every birthday. We wait until everyone's gone to sleep and then we'll set the living room up with loads of balloons and a banner, put a movie on in the background and wrap the presents together. It's actually a really nice bonding moment for us. We get to reminisce about the year just gone and wonder what we have in store for the year ahead, congratulate ourselves on our parenting wins and discuss what we need to work on and do better. Anyway, as you can see, this room is completely filthy and I don't even want to think about what's in this corner. Honestly, it looks like sick. I didn't see it though because it was underneath the white set of drawers. So yeah, my main focus for this room, deep cleaning. Gonna start with the sink and use a foam bathroom cleaner. I think this is elbow grease, I can't really see. Elbow grease is my fave, although I do prefer to use Cif cream cleaner on the bathroom sinks. I think I just sprinted to the cleaning cupboard, picked the first relevant cleaner I could find and ran back. Like I said, it's June now and this was filmed in April, so I tried to put myself back into the mindset, but it was so long ago. It just takes me so long to do the voiceovers for the long videos. I have to bit and bob and get 5 minutes done one day and 10 minutes another, and then it's like a week I can't do any voiceover and I have to come back and try and remember how I was feeling when I did the clean. But it is what it is. I saw a video that really annoyed me the other day, and it shouldn't annoy me, but it did because I think it kind of discredits how hard some YouTubers work. It depends on the niche really, doesn't it? But yeah. It was this TikTok from an editor who works on editing YouTube videos, and she was explaining how she'd just worked a 12-hour day editing a video for someone, and she panned to the screen showing all the different layers and intricacies that go into making a video, Which is fine. It's great that people see how much goes into making one video. But then she said if you follow someone who has more than 200,000 subscribers, they're not editing their own videos, someone like me is. And it just isn't the case for everybody. But putting out that message in such a matter-of-fact way, and she did, it then sends people over to creators like me with a certain expectation that we're going to be lots more prolific than is humanly possible for us. Not everybody has a team helping them. Some of us do this and work full-time jobs or have young families. Not all of us have studios or fancy cameras and software. Even if I could hire someone, they can't do my voiceovers for me. And I don't have a studio. I'm sat in bed in a blanket doing this voiceover while the baby sleeps. And then, like I said earlier on, when the kids were making noise in the background, some days I have to try and do voiceovers with all 3 kids in the house and Charlie trying to entertain them as best as he can, and that's the only way I can get things done. And yeah, I know it's silly, but I just wanted to give some acknowledgement for those of us doing it all by ourselves. The filming, the editing, the voiceovers. We work hard. And the fact that so many of you have followed along, we don't want to let you down. We do want to be able to put out more videos for you, but obviously most people understand that this is the case, but then people putting out videos like that, it's just like, Anyway, enough of this. I feel like I've rambled on way too long about irrelevant stuff in this video. It was meant to be a motivational cleaning video where I walk you through step by step, but I can't help myself. I have to go off on tangents. I guess it'd be boring if it was straight cleaning chat though too. I'm just letting my thoughts take me where they take me. Look in there. But yeah, tell me to be quiet if you want. Lots of people do. I won't, but still feel free. Too much talking. That's a common one I get. My rebuttal is always there are plenty of cleaning channels who don't talk all the way through. And there I go again. Right, so what I'm doing here, actually to interrupt myself again, if you do like cleaning videos with chatter all the way through, Fern, who I recommended earlier on in the video, she also chats and keeps you company all the way through hers. Because I imagine if you've gotten this far into the video, you're here for the chats and we are virtual besties. Anyway, so I thought while I was in here I'd clean out the toothbrush holder and get some of the caked on toothpaste off the toothbrushes. This toothbrush holder is a new feature in our home and I hate it with a passion. It's just too big. But Charlie got it and he was so proud when he brought it home, so I'm grinning and bearing it. But I can't have it on the sink because it honestly looks like it's going to fall off the side at any moment. So now it goes on the set of drawers in the corner. And I've had a number of complaints on previous videos about it being too close to the toilet there. But honestly, this whole room is so tiny, there's particles getting on everything regardless. And did you know, the phones we hold in our hands almost constantly, they harbour more bacteria than a toilet seat. So honestly, I'm not too worried. I'm not cleaning the brushes with anything today. I usually like to soak them in Milton periodically to get rid of germs, but I didn't have any this day. Milton's a solution that you can clean babies' bottles with, so it's perfectly safe for toothbrushes as well. But yeah, I've been looking at them for a while now, thinking I just want to scrape all of that toothpaste gunk away. It's getting on my nerves. I realise I didn't talk you through what I did with the mystery stain in the corner earlier. So for either sides of the toilet, I put down some bleach and water, used my scrubbing brush, that will be thoroughly disinfected after this, by the way, and I just scrubbed as much as I could, and then mopped all of it up with some kitchen roll. And then when I've finished the bathroom, I will go over the entire floor again and mop with some more disinfectant. Honestly, I can't tell you how cathartic this clean was, getting into every nook and cranny and sorting the things I've been putting off for ages. Not because I didn't want to sort them, but because I just didn't have time. I know I should be wearing gloves here, guys, and I do not recommend not wearing gloves. But back to what I was saying. I saw a woman talking about this the other day, and she said you have to micro-clean every single day or your house will quickly fall out of control. And it's just so true. Leave the dishes or the laundry until the next day, which obviously I am so guilty of, as many of us are. And guilty is not even the word I'd use, but yeah, you know what I mean. But leave it until the next day and then you get a backlog of jobs that you just can't keep up with. And then you're suddenly, metaphorically, putting out mini fires around the house while more are popping up around you. And that's how it is, isn't it? Especially with kids or pets. Even when you are trying to keep on top of things to the best of your ability, sometimes it still isn't enough. And you only have so much to give. And you do just have to settle with your house being base level tidy. Maybe not how you'd love it to be, but just okay. A little messy but functional is how I like to describe it. Lived in. There's stuff out on the sides because it takes more effort to put them away over and over again than just leave them out. So you try and make the piles on the sides look as neat as possible. So to get a day like today where I had unlimited time to sort all of the jobs that had been bugging me and to clean things that had been at the bottom of my priority list from day to day, never really making it to the top of my list, it felt so therapeutic. This is what my reset days are, but to a lesser extent. I get 6 hours once a week rather than 13. And I can tell you a video I'm working on at the minute because obviously I'm talking to you in June. Let me just explain what I'm doing here though first. So I even went as far as to clean the walls today. I decided to use Midnight Bloom again and just give all of the walls a wipe down as high as I could reach. There were so many questionable marks on these walls and I thought, why not? Seems a bit extra, but today was a day for being extra. And it smelt heavenly once everything had dried. Lasted for a good few days too. But yeah, at the minute I'm filming all of my resets for the month and I'm going to compile them into one long video, which I'll post at the start of July. And it's going to be all of my resets for the month of June. And the reason I decided to do that is because I want July off, I'm not going to lie. I want to spend it in the sun with my babies. So I'm pre-recording and I think it'll be a really interesting video, just showing you all of the things I've done in June to keep the house running. And we're also going on holiday to the seaside in July, so I'm going to vlog that and maybe post it at the end of July. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for a rest. It might not seem like it because I don't post much at all, but I am constantly filming and creating and editing, and I post on multiple platforms too. I'm a lot more prolific on the shorter form platforms, so it does all add up. Thing is, I'm meant to be on my maternity leave, so I do want at least 1 month that is like a real maternity leave month, with no responsibilities other than to be a mum to my lovely humans, and to soak in this precious time with my baby. And what better time than July, where we can go out in the sun and get the paddling pool out and just make the best memories. If you don't know, my real person job is at Asda supermarket, and this is my virtual person job. Both pay the bills now, and I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe when I think about how blessed I am to call this a reality. What a privilege. And yeah, I've taken a year off on maternity leave from Asda, but I pretty much haven't taken a break from social media at all. We all know how terrible maternity pay is. But I do not want to complain because maternity leave in the UK is one of the best and I'm very, very lucky. But yeah, I just want these videos to be worth the watch for you, so I put in as much time and effort as I can. And that means not posting as often as I'd like to. But I hope the videos I do put out are worth the wait because I pour so much love into them. And as always, even though I can't reply to everybody, I do see all of your lovely comments and I'm so grateful to all of you. And the people who've been here from the beginning and watched this channel grow and me change and grow as a person too, it means the world, it really does. Anyway, I've given the drawers a clean with bleach because, as I said, I live with 3 boys and this is right next to the toilet, so this is a must. Do you like my sliders? They're actually Rudy's. He's 10 and we can already wear the same size shoe. It will not be long before he's towering over me. Not hard though because I'm only 5 foot. I think Velma's going to be a tall girl. I've just got a feeling. 2 of my best friends are really tall and you should see us standing next to each other. It's hysterical. Let me find a photo. First of all though, this is the bathroom done, smelling lovely. And now we're going to move on to the living room. My main goal for this room is having a bit of a clean around, clean under things and decluttering the toy box. That is the main goal. As you can see, the carpet's got loads of bits and crumbs in, so we're going to have a good slow hoover. If you know, you know. Hoovering slowly picks up more. But I did actually do a whole deep clean in here a week after I filmed this, where I pulled out every single bit of furniture, the settee, behind the telly, and I carpet vacked the rug, and that'll be posted next. But yeah, photos of me next to my best friends. There's one where I was pregnant with Rudy and it was my baby shower and I was standing next to my friend Grace and it's just like, look at you, you absolute goddess, and then look at me. It did used to really upset me when I was younger and I'd never leave the house without high heels. Now I just embrace it. I always thought it'd hold me back in life from opportunities or a partner or just being taken seriously in general, but the only thing that was holding me back was myself. And that's normally the case with all things, isn't it? It's our insecurities and our worries that hold us back. When we don't think we're worthy, the world's less likely to see us as worthy, and life is way too short for that. Anyway, I neatened up the coffee table, gave it a clean, gave Rudy's drawer in a clean. I'll sometimes commission Rudy for pieces of artwork to put around the house. I think it's a great way to build confidence. Then I scraped all of the crumbs off this settee so that I could hoover them all up. Charlie's job was to clear the stairs. He was already upstairs, so that was something he could work on while I finished off down here. And that's another thing. These stairs have been clear now for so long, we couldn't let it build up again. These stairs used to be a real problem area in this house. They were always cluttered, a proper hazard. And that's one of the reasons I decided to do such a big clean today. As I said at the beginning of the video, old habits like leaving stuff on the stairs were starting to pop back up. And these things usually happen when you're feeling overwhelmed with your to-do list and you feel drained, run down and like a hamster on a wheel, never quite able to catch up. And so you start cutting corners with things to preserve your energy and your sanity. You leave stuff on the stairs to take up and sort another day. You leave pots until the morning and laundry to pile up. And it soon adds up and you become more overwhelmed and feel more behind. And then in order to get fully back on top of things, you do need to do these kind of factory reset clean and tidies. The ideal scenario would be not having to take this amount of time out of your day to clean the house and to catch up. But let's be honest, who hasn't let things build up during busy and stressful phases of life? It's just one of those things. And like I said, we can learn to accept that things will always be a little bit messy and we'll always be a little bit behind on stuff, because that's life. And I'll always advocate for this way of thinking. But sometimes it affects me and my brain won't rest because I'm constantly thinking about my to-do list. Sometimes I want everything to be done, even if it's for a few hours, so that I can switch off and relax. So we can take two other routes in these kind of situations, other than acceptance. We can try and do huge cleanups like this once in a while to get us back to base level. But I only recommend this if it isn't going to burn you out, because ultimately that will cause more big messes in the long run. Third option is to just give up altogether and let the chaos and mess build up even further, and to get yourself into a little bit of a pickle. And trust me, I have also been there many times and it doesn't feel good. My messes had built up to the point that you couldn't see the floor of my house, I had no clean clothes and there was food going mouldy in every room. And this kind of mess affects every other part of your life, even if you're not consciously aware it does. And it took me a while to realise this. Again, like I said near the beginning of the video, one thing that has been a game changer for me is decluttering regularly. And this is what I'm doing now. I'm going through all the toys, getting rid of any broken things, duplicates, things the kids haven't played with in months, things with missing parts, you get the picture. And then I'm just going to organise them into categories so that the kids know where to look if they want to play with a certain toy. So thinking back, I think the 4 categories were Duplo, sensory, cars, and like dinosaurs and figures. And yeah, decluttering was another thing that I just rejected for such a long time because I'm allergic to listening to other people's advice, apparently. Don't tell me what to do. Nah, I'm not like that anymore. I do like to take on board other people's opinions and suggestions, even if they might get my back up at first. I've come to realise that when I have a strong emotional reaction to a suggestion or a comment or constructive or not even very constructive criticism, it's probably because there's some truth to it that I've been trying to bury in the recesses of my mind. And I like to sit with these feelings now and process them and hopefully allow them to help me be a better version of me. Sometimes I do come to the conclusion that that person's just an idiot and completely wrong and cruel. Other times I use it as motivational fuel. I've said before, sometimes when all else fails and I cannot get myself to get moving and get on with stuff around the house, I like to put on cleaning channels that kind of tell you off a little bit. Sprinkle a little bit of shame into the mix, and it just spurs me on because it's like, I know you're not talking about me, and if you were, you won't be in a minute because I'm going to whiz around this house like the Flash now, you just wait. And I'm having imaginary arguments with these people in my head who've never met me before in their life. Either that or I imagine my mum telling me off, and that'll do it as well. Spite cleaning, I call it. Some people stress clean, some people rage clean. I clean out of spite. And hey, if it works, it works. You've got to do what works for you. Anyway, that's another room done. Just going to put the boxes back. And at this point, it was 8 o'clock at night. And when I tell you I was completely exhausted at this point, the last thing I wanted to do was the kitchen, but we'd come so far. I chose to do the kitchen last because it's my favourite room in the house to clean, and I clean it multiple times a day, so I'm pretty rapid at getting it done. And I knew this was the room I needed to do when my motivation was waning. If I'd have left the rooms upstairs until last, I wouldn't have been doing them, so this was very strategic. We had a takeaway for dinner because who wants to be cooking and making more pots on a day like this? So all of the bags and pots on this side were from today's dinner. This table, main problem area in this room. This whole corner just annoys me. But in this room, I always start from this counter and I work my way around each surface in an anti-clockwise direction, and then I move across the room to the area where the table is. Honestly, I see them as two separate areas, the cooking area and the dining area. But yeah, I'm just piling all of the clean pots here to make myself more room to work, and then I'll put them away later. Knives and forks and stuff I'll just put straight into the cutlery drawer because it's right next to me. And then before I wash the pots, I always like to give the draining board a good clean first. We did used to have one of those actual draining boards where you can stack everything, but I find them so horrible to look at. And there was nowhere to hide it away in this kitchen, so it was just always out. And one day I thought, do you know what? I don't have to conform to this if I don't want to. Who says I have to own one? And I've never looked back. Same as a washing up bowl in the sink. We used to have one, and then I thought, I don't like the way this looks and I don't want one and I'm not having one. It's each to their own, isn't it? This is your space and you do what you want with your space. You're the one that has to live in it. Anyway, I had a few pots left over from throughout the day, so I gave those a wash. At this point, Charlie was doing the bedtime routine, and it's important to note that he was doing an equally, more important job behind the scenes, which was caring for our 3 children. Doing the school runs, making lunches, playing games, bath times, bedtime stories, making sure everybody's needs were met, making sure I could get what I needed to get done. And this channel wouldn't be possible without Charlie, that's absolutely certain. We have 3 kids at 3 distinct life stages, 10, 4 and 3 months. And anyone who thinks this isn't also hard work, we just won't vibe. As a working mum, I work outside of the home and in the home, and parenting is hard if you're putting your all into it. That's why people pay for childcare. It's work. And I always feel the need to discuss this topic briefly because there are always people who accuse Charlie of not pulling his weight around the house. And they're like, why are you the one doing all of this and he's doing nothing? Our cleaning and parenting and just workload in general is 50-50 when I'm not filming a video. These videos are for entertainment and motivational purposes and just to keep the audience company, and so they're filmed on specific days and for specific cleanups. They're not reflective of every day of our lives. I film a video probably once out of 14 days, maybe once a week if I can. The rest of the week looks very different in terms of how the workload is shared. But when I'm filming, it's easier for one of us to clean and film and the other to entertain the kids. Otherwise, the footage would just be so fragmented and nothing would make sense because I'd be having to stop and start so much. The camera would be being knocked over. More messes would be being made as I was cleaning and you'd see me filming the same cleanup multiple times. And yeah, I know at this point in the video, the people still watching already know this, but I guarantee you'll see it in the comments. Look out for it. People calling him lazy and people trying to explain to me in such a patronising way that I'm a victim in my relationship without realising, and I'm being used as a maid, and he's using the fact that he's a man and he works outside of the home to be lazy, automatically assuming that I don't work outside of the home. That's an unconscious bias. Not realising that I already have a deep hatred for weaponised incompetence and misogyny and rigid gender roles. And yeah, I feel protective over my Charlie. And just proud of our partnership, and I could rave about it all day. I feel so lucky to be in the situation I'm in and the relationship I'm in, and I want all women and all men watching to have the same level of respect and understanding in their relationships. You deserve equality and someone on your wavelength who'll meet your energy and put in just as much into it as you do. So yeah, I discuss this for that reason too, because I want your standards and your self-worth to be sky high. And I don't want women to believe that they should be the only ones putting effort into the housework. Absolutely not. And I'd never want my videos to give off that impression because I'm usually the only one cleaning in these videos. That is just for the videos. Whether you work outside of the home or not, if 2 adults are making mess in the house, then both of you should be working together to clean it up. Have kids together and you're a stay-at-home mum while he goes out to work? Cool. Parenting is also a job. Both of you should be taking care of the house together. And I know on the surface it's just cleaning videos, but deep down my videos are about so much more than just cleaning. That was always my goal, to talk about anything and everything and to make people feel seen in the process. And obviously, of course, to help you keep on top of your house. Okay, so that's the house all done. And now it's time for us to set up, and we're about to have a 10-year-old in the morning. Double digits. Where has the time gone? I think Rudy had just turned 7 when I started this channel, and now he's turning into such a lovely, interesting, kind young man, and I couldn't be prouder of him. So me and Charlie have got Men in Black on in the background. I think last Christmas we were watching 28 Days Later while we did the wrap-in, which is very random. Ike's singing in the background there, I do apologise. But I always remember the movies we have on because it's such a meaningful moment for me. As you can see, the snake has arrived, and I will show him at the end, but don't worry, I'll put in a warning beforehand for people who don't like snakes. Charlie's my sellotape holder here. Do you know one thing I'd love in the future? A gift wrapping station. You know, like the one Cam has on Modern Family? You'll see Charlie has to leave and head upstairs, and that's because Rudy woke up and he was too excited to go back to sleep. So we had to try and stop him from coming downstairs and seeing all of the presents. But because it was his 10th birthday and it's kind of a milestone, he has been quite spoilt this year. He got his own laptop because he's really into animation at the minute, so my dad's recommended some software for him to practice creating characters. And obviously he'll be able to do his schoolwork on it too, especially when he moves into middle school. And then he just had some bath stuff and the usual miscellaneous stuff that he'd asked for over the year, and of course his snake. And I also sent over the list to family members so that they could buy some of the things he wanted. He had a lot of gift cards for the Xbox, so he was very chuffed at the end of the day. And yeah, my baby's 10. I can't believe I'm old enough to have a 10-year-old. And I thought I'd be absolutely heartbroken when he reached double digits because it's the time they kind of start pulling away more, isn't it? And wanting to do their own thing. And this is true, he has been. But I've found our chats when they do happen are so much more engaged and our quality time is more quality. Peep the Christmas wrapping at the back there, that's from my dad. And yeah, we're also starting to bond over our sense of humour, and I'm showing him all of my favourite sitcoms, and I'm absolutely loving this stage. Anyway, this is the tank setup. I got advice from the local reptile shop about the tank size and how they like their enclosure set up. And yeah, skip away now if you don't want to see a snake. Everybody meet Snowflake. He's so cute. Anyway, that's the end of another video, and I hope you really enjoyed it.